You know those air fresheners, window sprays, fabric softeners, and toilet cleaners you use around the house? They might seem harmless, even helpful, but they're actually filled with chemicals that can mess with your lungs, skin, and even your hormones. And I bet you had no idea, because these products are still everywhere in ads in stores in nearly every home. That's exactly what makes them so dangerous they feel normal. But don't worry, you're here now, and in this video, I'll show you 9 everyday products I've stopped using and the simple, safer swaps that work just as well. You only need a few small changes to make your home less toxic, your body less tired, and your space just as clean. Now let's get into the very first one. Let's start with something most of us grew up using without question: bleach. That sharp smell I used to think it meant things were truly clean. I poured it into sinks, toilets, even my washing machine, because that's what my mom did, and honestly, what almost every household around me did too. But over time, I started noticing small things. My head would ache after cleaning. My chest would feel tight. Sometimes I'd need to open all the windows while doing laundry just to breathe. Then I started reading. And what I learned was unsettling. Bleach doesn't just clean, it can irritate your lungs, disrupt your hormones, and impact your thyroid, especially with regular use. That sharp smell isn't fresh, it's a warning sign we've learned to ignore. So here's what I do now. I stopped using bleach altogether. When I need to whiten something or disinfect, I use hydrogen peroxide. It's effective but gentler. For regular cleaning, I mix warm water with a splash of vinegar. It doesn't smell like fake clean, but it doesn't leave my throat burning either. And I don't miss it. Honestly, every time I clean now, it feels easier, like I'm not fighting the dirt and the chemicals anymore. If you find this helpful, make sure to follow me. I'll be sharing more simple cleaning methods, fast swaps, and real-life ways to make your home feel lighter. And if bleach is harsh on your lungs, just wait until we talk about what's hiding in your laundry scent. Let's go there next. It started with this weird smell I couldn't ignore anymore. I opened the old cabinet where I keep off-season blankets, and the air just hit me, thick chemical, kind of like something you'd smell in an old storage room. Not mold, not dirt, just wrong. I tossed in some mothballs a while back, thinking that's what you're supposed to do, right? Keep the bugs away, protect the fabric. But the more I opened that cabinet, the worse it felt. The smell would stick to my clothes. I even started holding my breath while reaching in. That was my red flag. So I looked it up. And sure enough, mothballs release this chemical called naphthalene. It literally turns into vapor over time, filling your air with something you're not meant to breathe in. Long term. It's been linked to headaches, lung irritation, even cancer. No thanks. Now I just keep it simple. I use cedar wood blocks, nothing fancy. I toss a few into drawers or bins, and sometimes I add a little lavender sachet if I want it to smell nice. I also started storing seasonal things in sealed containers. Keeps the air clear and the clothes just fine. Honestly, I don't miss that smell at all. And once I got rid of it, the space felt lighter, like it could finally breathe again. Let's move on, because if something that small made that big of a difference, wait till you hear what I learned about dish soap. Next, it's funny how something as simple as dish soap can sneak under the radar. For the longest time, I never thought twice about the soap I was using on my dishes. It was just soap, right? Something everyone uses every day and we all assume it's fine. But then I started reading the labels. And that's when I realized the soap I'd been using actually contained formaldehyde. Yes, that same chemical linked to cancer. And I was putting it on the very dishes I ate off of every single day. It wasn't until I started doing more research that I understood how easily these chemicals can seep into our skin, especially with all the hand contact we make with our dishes. That thought alone made me stop using my old soap immediately. Now I use a natural, non-toxic dish soap. It's simple, and it works just as well. I even started paying attention to the ingredients in other cleaning products too. It's amazing how much better I feel knowing there's nothing dangerous on my dishes or in my hands. It's a small change, but it's been one of the easiest to stick with. And honestly, It's one of the most satisfying. Now that I know better, I feel like I can control what I bring into my home, even in the tiniest everyday moments. And speaking of switching to safer options, let's talk about another cleaning product you might want to rethink: your all-purpose cleaner. That's next. I used to think that the stronger the cleaner, the better it worked. So when it came to my toilet, I always went straight for the heavy-duty stuff. You know, the ones with the strong chemicals and that distinct, overpowering scent that you can smell even before you open the bottle. But over time, I started noticing how harsh it was. The smell lingered in the bathroom long after I was done cleaning. And even worse, I started feeling lightheaded and irritated in my throat every time I used it. That made me think, what's in this stuff that's making me feel this way? After doing some digging, I found out that many toilet cleaners contain things like hydrochloric acid and bleach chemicals that are incredibly harsh on both the environment and our bodies. In fact, these chemicals can burn your skin and damage your lungs if you inhale them too much. And let's not even talk about what happens if they spill or get on your clothes. So what did I do instead? I started using something simple: baking soda and a bit of liquid soap. I sprinkle the baking soda into the toilet bowl, add a little dish soap, and scrub away. It works just as well, doesn't leave me with a headache or a sore throat, and it's much gentler on the environment. It's funny how we often trust these harsh chemicals because they promise fast results. But now I know better. Simple, natural alternatives work just as well without the risks. Next up, let's talk about multi-purpose cleaners. You might want to take a second look at what's really in those bottles. I used to love those all-purpose cleaners that promised to leave everything smelling fresh like lemon or lavender. It felt like the easiest way to clean and make the house smell amazing at the same time. Every time I sprayed it, the place instantly felt cleaner. But after a while, I started to notice something. The scent didn't just disappear after I cleaned. It lingered in the air longer than I liked, and it wasn't a nice, fresh scent anymore. It started feeling a little too strong, almost like it was hiding something. That's when I decided to actually check the label, and I was shocked. All those fresh smells are made up of synthetic chemicals, many of which can irritate your skin, eyes, and lungs. Some of them even mess with your hormones over time. I realized I'd been spraying those chemicals all over my house thinking I was doing something good. But in reality, I was just covering up the smells, not actually cleaning the air. So I started making my own cleaner. I mix water with a little dish soap, sometimes throw in some vinegar, and that's it. It works just as well, and I know exactly what's in it. No fake scents, no chemicals, just clean the way it should be. It's a small change, but it's honestly been such a relief. My house smells fresh now, but not in that overpowering chemical way. It just feels like fresh air. And speaking of things we put in the dryer, let's talk about dryer sheets next. You might want to rethink those too. Okay, I'll be honest. I used to love that fresh, clean laundry smell. Those dryer sheets seemed like a quick and easy way to get it. Toss one in and bam, soft, fragrant clothes. It felt like a little luxury every time. But then I started digging into what's actually in those dryer sheets, and wow, I was shocked. They're loaded with chemicals, fragrances, and preservative stuff that can irritate your skin, your lungs, and who knows what else. The worst part, those chemicals don't just disappear after you take your clothes out of the dryer. They stick to your clothes, and every time you wear them, you're absorbing all that junk. So I made a change. I switched to wool dryer balls. They're natural, reusable, and do the exact same thing. They soften your clothes, reduce static, and even speed up drying time. If I want a little scent, I'll just add a drop of essential oil to the balls. No chemicals, just fresh and soft clothes. Honestly, it just feels better knowing I'm not putting all those chemicals on my skin. My clothes are softer, cleaner, and it doesn't smell like I've been breathing in a chemical cloud. All right, now that we're talking about cleaner alternatives, let's move on to your all-purpose cleaner. You might want to rethink that one too. Let's dive in. Let's talk about air fresheners. I used to have them in every room, the plug-in kind, the spray kind. I thought they kept the house smelling fresh, clean, and well lived in, you know. It felt like an easy way to keep things smelling nice, especially if I was in a hurry or didn't have time to clean. But after a while, I started to notice something. The scent didn't just make the house smell nice, it was too much. And the worst part, I'd find myself spraying or plugging in another one as soon as the smell started to fade, like I couldn't let it go. It felt like I was always fighting to keep the fresh feeling in the air. Then one day, I decided to actually read the labels. And honestly, I was surprised. A lot of air fresheners contain chemicals like phthalates, stuff that's been linked to health issues over time. Definitely not the kind of fresh I was looking for. So I switched it up. Now I open the windows more, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day. I'll simmer cinnamon or orange peel on the stove if I want a little extra scent. If I need something more, I'll use a few drops of essential oil in a diffuser, but only when I want it, not constantly. The house still smells great, but now it's natural, and I'm not filling the air with anything I don't want to breathe in. Now let's talk about another cleaner that we use all the time, your all-purpose cleaner. You might want to take a closer look at that too. Windex was my go-to for years. That iconic blue bottle with the streak-free shine promise, it just felt like the magic solution for cleaning everything from windows to countertops. I used it without thinking twice, thinking it was the best way to keep everything sparkling clean. But then after a while, I started noticing something. Every time I used it, the fumes made my throat scratchy. My eyes would get irritated, and I'd find myself sneezing. It didn't make sense. I was cleaning, not causing a mess, right? So I did a little research, and turns out Windex and a lot of other similar cleaners contains ammonia. It evaporates quickly and leaves that streak-free shine, but it's also harsh on your respiratory system. It can even cause long-term damage to your lungs and eyes if you're using it regularly. Now I do things differently. Instead of grabbing that blue bottle, I mix water with a little dish soap. If I want to make it stronger, I add a splash of vinegar. It works just as well without the fumes or chemicals. And when it comes to wiping down windows, I use 2 microfiber cloths, one to wipe and one to dry. It's streak-free, and my air is cleaner too. It's crazy how something so simple can make such a big difference. Now I don't have to worry about the harsh chemicals or the irritation. My home still feels clean, but without the downsides. Next, let's talk about something that's easy to overlook, but might be a lot harsher than you think: oven cleaners. Let's dive in. Final oven cleaner. The heavy-duty kind that promises to wipe away grease and grime in minutes. I used to reach for it every time I needed to clean the oven. It seemed like the fastest way to get everything spotless without much effort. But after a few uses, I started to feel uneasy. That strong chemical smell filled the entire kitchen, and even after wiping it all away, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was breathing in something toxic. Every time I used it, I'd find myself coughing and feeling lightheaded. I couldn't help but wonder, what was I really putting on the surfaces where I cooked my food? That's when I looked into the ingredients. Many oven cleaners contain harsh chemicals like lye and petroleum distillates, which are known to be harmful when inhaled, or when they come in contact with skin. And when you use them to clean your oven, those chemicals can stick to the surface and even get into the food you're cooking. So I made a change. Instead of reaching for the store-bought oven cleaner, I started using baking soda. I make a simple paste by mixing baking soda and water, then spread it on the oven's interior. After letting it sit for a bit, I scrub away all the gunk with a sponge. It works just as well, and I don't have to worry about toxic fumes or chemicals lingering in the air. It's cleaner, safer, and I feel way more at ease knowing I'm not exposing myself to anything harmful every time I use the oven. Now that we've covered oven cleaners, let's talk about something we all use every day without thinking twice: bleach. You might want to reconsider that one too. Let's dive into why. So there you have it, 9 simple swaps that can make your home cleaner safer and healthier without all the harsh chemicals. It's crazy how small changes can add up to a big difference in how we feel, right? The best part: None of these swaps are complicated or expensive. They're just small practical changes that I've made in my own home, and they've helped me feel better, breathe easier, and live with more peace of mind. If you're like me and want a home that's both clean and safe, I hope this video gave you a few ideas to try. Trust me, once you start making these simple swaps, you'll never look back, and your home will thank you. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on how to live a cleaner, healthier life. I'll see you in the next one.